The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends.
Hello.
Is here.
We've got a lot to dive into. This is a fun show, I think.
Let me. I want to run down Andy's Twitter description of the show tonight, just to see how close we get to it. Tonight on at Basically Sports, our Twitter feed, Zach discusses life without first-round picks and with Matt Stafford. We sweat over the ice debuts of NHL reverse retro jerseys. Mike and Greg laugh in Florida as the Midwest is caked in snow, and we ignore whatever big sports event is about to happen next week. How accurate is that going to be, guys?
Probably about 85%.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can't speak for Mike because he's a little further south than I am, but there ain't nothing to laugh at in Florida today. It's colder than shit down here right now.
Oh,
Well,
it's not Midwest cold. Like
It's close.
Is it like 60 degrees?
No, it's. I think when I got home it was 48. So
Yeah,
It's
we've
okay.
hit the 48 range down here too.
and let me tell you, boys, in Florida, 48 is a hell of a lot colder than it is in Ohio. I don't know why that is, but it is. So we can probably rule that one out right out of the gate. But anyway, we got a lot of big news this week. Andy, tell us what's going on with our big
Yes.
media event. That's the word I'm looking for. 2 words.
Yeah. So this show is not. I mean, we have at least 535 episodes in. I don't know how many have we had an interview really. Ever?
Yeah.
I don't think we have.
No, was the Tom O'Brien thing was on the Logo Cast?
Tom
wasn't it?
O'Grady was the logo
Oh,
cast.
O'Grady,
Oh
right.
my God! What a jeez. Anyway, go ahead.
So this
I mean,
show,
we certainly talked. We have the lounge reports, but I don't know if that counts.
no.
We had one interview that is, I think, the holy grail of Bass stuff, if you could find it, but it's not out there anywhere. Was when the Admiral was on.
Yes,
Yes,
that was God. And I was just one of the guys.
See, I missed that entirely. I was actually out of town on a job interview, so I couldn't be there for that show. And I was like, oh, whatever. I'll just catch the recording when it's out, and then.
Yeah, that.
And no, I mean it was not to gush over the Admiral too much, but it was the interview itself. I don't think was terribly interesting. He wasn't terribly forthcoming with information, but it was more of just like he sounded exactly like the Admiral. What you'd
should
expect.
sound. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly how he should sound.
Yeah.
But for those who are more interested in the logo side of things and less about the logos forum side of things, you'll be very excited to hear that. I believe it'll be published probably the night of or the next day. Be February, probably looking at either the 18th or the 19th. We will be having a conversation with Chris Creamer, who's the founder and creator of the sportslogos.net, as well as the boards.sportslogos.net forum. And we will also be talking to Paul Lucas of UniWatch. So those two guys will be coming on to discuss. They have a new podcast coming up. I think the first episode is supposed to drop sometime this week. It's called Unified. And I'm looking forward to that. And Chris also has a book.
It's such an interesting pair because it's like imagine like Marvel and DC teaming up.
I was
Yeah.
trying to come up with a good analogy for what this is like, and that's a good one. I was thinking
it's the
like
mega
It's like the Justice League and the Avengers both came together.
Yeah,
It's
it's the mega powers. It's Hogan and Savage teaming up, and I think that I've heard them both speak, and I've heard them both kind of just do. Chris has like a YouTube channel and stuff like that. I'm just kind of curious to see like who will stop the other one from making it like a 6-hour show, because I feel like they're both the type of people who just are so fascinated with uniform design and logos, and they have such a deep history that it could just go on and on and on.
I mean,
God, look at this show.
I
you
hate
see
to,
what we get into.
Yeah.
I hate to big time everybody here, but I've interviewed both of them already, and
Oh, well, la di
Yes.
da.
and they are both very good, very concise. They're both going to be great, and I don't foresee any problems with this. I think that I also want to point out too that Paul Lucas is now following basically a sports show on Twitter, which I found bizarre, but okay, I'm glad he's here.
Well, shut
And
it
I-
down, guys. This is
We
mission
arrived.
accomplished. We're done here.
Better watch
I-
out. We get 1 or 2 retweets, and all of a sudden we're gonna get some
That
real
Tostitos sponsorship is finally within reach.
Tostitos.
There we go.
Whoa, Mike, calm down. Your Tostitos, that's aiming a little high. Totinos is what we're looking for
Totinos.
here.
Yeah.
Totino, right?
Yeah.
Very big.
Totinos.
But yeah, so I mean, there's another.
I've got a
there's
bag
another
of
like
I've got a bag of pizza rolls ready to go after the show. So
All right, there you go.
classy.
See Totinos, if you're listening, just because Paul Lucas might have pointed you our way, we will pimp the ever living shit out of your product if you just throw a few dollars our way.
Hell, there's plenty of things that we pimp the Beverly should have. that we don't have.
I made
Omaha
Totino.
Beef looking at you.
I made an anti Totino's joke once, and Zach acted like I just shot the Pope. So
Well, you
Can't-
basically
can't have
had.
that. We can't have that here.
We don't joke with the Totinos. It's just too risky. It might hurt us down the road.
It's been a long-lasting relationship that we hope to further.
Right.
I mean, this.
But then
I would
Andy
say
was-
that-
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I was going to say,
gonna
this is
Greg,
straight out
talk.
of fucking. This is straight out of fucking Letterkenny when Wayne and McMurray try to talk to each other.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that,
Yeah.
and you also kicked around the idea of getting someone on from. Wait for it, folks, because this is big. The Omaha Beef.
Yeah,
on the
I
show.
honestly, I'm honestly.
can we get sirloin?
Well, we're going to try.
We're gonna try. What I'm gonna do. So, I mean, I had kind of a relatively busy day, but this week I'm going to make some phone calls, and I want to get a hold of the Omaha Beef. And by the way, I love browsing the Beef's website. It's beeffootball.com.
So
And
good.
yeah,
So
it's
good.
great. And I want to. I don't know who exactly, because it's a small operation. They don't have a whole ton of people, but
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of want to go through the whole basically sports pantheon of people who would make interesting guests who may never have been on a podcast or been interviewed for anything. Just kind of get them on to.
Well, yeah. If you're listening, Omaha Beef, like, where else are you gonna go? Come on.
Well, not only that, but the offer still stands. You just get us there. All we're asking for is just accommodations and travel expenses, and we will come out there and do a full show.
Maybe in
We
a
will
few
do
months.
a live show
Oh,
from an
some food.
Omaha Beef game.
Free concessions, travel. Well, Omaha's a long way from all of us.
We're not.
None
I
of us
want I want swag. I want to meet sirloin.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't need a whole lot from the Omaha Beef. I just
No.
need like I
I'd
just
take a
need time
t-shirt.
for a loin.
an ownership
Right.
stake. You know,
But yeah, the
literal-
offer still
literal
stands.
steak and actual.
I ultimately I think like the holy grail, like the ultimate holy grail for us, as far as these sort of things would go, would be if we could somehow, as we're recording a show, send a live broadcast into a Glendale City Council meeting.
That'd be pretty good too.
I
Us
think
commenting
we'd-
on it.
we'd have no listeners left by the end of that. It would just be
No, we wouldn't. But that's the thing, though. You see, we would enjoy that. No one else would. But then that's never stopped us before.
I mean, the caveat, of course, is it has to be a city council meeting concerning the Glendale Coyotes of Arizona, and they're all ongoing saga. Because
Well,
do they have a new a new arena yet? Or
No, they have a yearly lease that they
Is
have.
that
to
even a
renew every
thing anymore? I mean, really?
how embarrassing.
Yeah, they literally have to renew their lease every year with the council.
Wow.
So-
I hope. By the way, we are now on our basically a sports show channel on YouTube, and I
Yeah.
hope that didn't
Hey,
mess up anything with our normal viewers looking for it in the wrong place.
well, yeah, the links are posted, so
Well, that's true.
yeah,
people
it's
should
all right.
know. But let's get to talking about sports. Huh?
yeah. So
Well,
Zach had a interesting Friday evening, I would wager, and I beat him. I beat him to
Saturday.
the. I thought it was Friday evening.
Saturday night.
Saturday night, whatever. So either way, I beat you to it by about 3.3 seconds.
Yeah. Well,
Wow,
because-
Andy with the
because
scoop.
I was in shock. I was kind of looking at my phone like, wait, they really?
Yeah, because all I saw was because it came in. I wish there was like a timer with the exact second, but Zach, adios, Jared Goff, all caps, and then the Schefter tweet. And so Zach has been, and honestly, I'm so happy because I don't care about the Super Bowl at all. I know that Zach, or I know that Mike is probably is really excited.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves, all of you.
But I mean, this is one of the biggest blockbuster trades in a long time.
It is the
two number one
only-
picks.
It is the first and only, the first trade of number one overall picks, former number one overall picks.
Really?
In NFL
Yes.
history, yeah.
I don't know. I find each sport kind of has its own culture when it comes to how trades work, how free agency works, and maybe I'm off on this, but I've always kind of viewed the NFL as not really a trade heavy league. Like it seems to
Not
me
normally.
that like hockey, the NHL is very trade heavy, but
But
like
yeah, the NFL is getting much more trade heavy. Like
Mhm.
it's happened a lot in the last several years, and one of the teams that's been in the middle of that is my Los Angeles Rams, where say what you will, at least they're doing it. Like they're gonna go for the goddamn thing. They're not kind of trading around and getting rid of salary and maneuvering around the cap, and they're not just bothering that stuff. They're making moves to get the team better right now, and they realize that maybe we're not so good at drafting first rounders, so let's trade first rounders for established products like Jalen Ramsey, like Brandon Cooks, like Matthew Stafford here now. So as my title says, and as the meme among Rams fans has been, like the meme among Rams fans is on Twitter. Our meme is a picture of Les Snead's face, our GM, and just the words "fuck them picks," because what good are draft picks? They're not playing for you yet.
let me provide devil's advocate position here. The Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah.
Different situation.
Well, no, but again, the Clippers thing, the Clippers thing doesn't work if they lose. It's the same thing here. If I'm totally all in on this right now, but give it 2 years, and if the Rams flame out in the wild card round in 2 years, in both those years, or don't win the division or whatever, then that's going to be a time where you look back at it and say, "Well, this didn't work out, did it?" But they're going for it, and even with the Clippers, they're going for it. They realize that if we're ever going to win, it's got to be right goddamn now. They may not do it, but at least
There
they
is
try.
actually precedent for this, Zach, for giving up all your first round picks. It's happened a few times. But the most successful version of this were the '80s Washington 32s. They did not have a first round pick for, I think, 7 straight seasons and won 3 Super Bowls in that time. So I think what the Rams are doing basically is they're saying, look, these first round, unless you've got a surefire thing, and we see it every year in the draft, you see these guys that get drafted first, in the first round, you never hear about them again. They're thinking they can plug holes at the second and third round and fourth and fifth. And so if they do, they do. It's great. If not, well,
that's exactly it. Because
Yeah.
the other thing is, if the Rams, with the Rams being as good as they have been, like making the playoffs at least 3 out of 4 years, or going deep and winning a round at least, the picks aren't as good as you think they are, right? It's
Yeah.
not like they're not trading like top 10 picks for these things. They're trading in the mid to late 20s, and the Rams, on the other hand of that, they've kept their second round picks, and they've done pretty well. They've hit on some guys there, namely Cam Akers last year was a second round pick, and the other thing is, people look at the whole list and like, oh my God, the Rams don't have first round picks for 7 years. Well, let's think about that. The Rams traded, what was it, 2 or 3 picks to trade up to get Jared Goff,
Right.
who was the number 1 overall pick, a guy that took him to the Super Bowl, a guy that was successful for a couple of years. And so it worked out in that way. And in addition to that, they traded a first round pick for Brandon Cooks, who, along with Jared Goff, got them to the Super Bowl. And in that way, if the Rams had won, nobody would give a damn about what the first round picks looked like because, well, it worked. And it damn near did. And so now you're doing this again where they traded another 2 first round picks for Jalen Ramsey, who turns out is pretty goddamn good. And he's worth, because you think about it this way, would you rather have Jalen Ramsey or would you rather have the 2 first round picks, which you could get a Jalen Ramsey, you could get a Jamarcus Russell,
Right.
you could
get a Jamarcus Ramsey.
Well,
right. But it's one of those things where the Rams know that they're trading late first round picks for established properties that they know are going to be good.
right.
Like Jalen Ramsey, like Brandon Cooks was. Jared Goff was really the only gamble because he was the first guy, but they needed a franchise quarterback to establish them in LA, and it worked.
The counterpoint to that is that first round picks, yes, they are extremely overvalued, but a pick in the top 5 is considered by many to be just like this untouchable, unobtainium like material. But the main reason that first round picks have incredible value is that they will have a 4-year controlled contract with a 5th-year option generally. So you get 4 to 5 years of potential MVP play from a young player in the physical peak of their careers. That could potentially put you over the top for you to use cap elsewhere. Now the Rams obviously I'd say they're playing the system the right way. They look at their first round picks as essentially very high second round picks and are realize that the current first rounders are extremely overvalued, especially when it comes to a lot of quarterbacks sneaking up way higher than they deserve. And they're looking to win their windows in the next two years, probably next 2 years, maybe 3 years if they're being.
There's 2 years left on Stafford's deal, so
right. The contractual situation is going to come home to roost eventually, but the Rams are looking at it. I mean, they've got some incredible players. Their window is now. They have no.
Exactly.
It's not. I applaud the strategy and I applaud the boldness, but I feel like if there are Rams fans here in the next, let's say 2025, 26, who are suddenly like, crying foul that like, oh well, we didn't meet our goal of reaching a Super Bowl. It's like, well, you know what, man, you did what a lot of fans never get to do with your teams, basically going truly all in, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a question.
Really, the biggest mistake the Rams have made in all of this is you kind of hit on it a little bit, Andy, where the Rams were able to operate with how they did because Jared Goff wasn't being paid a whole lot of money. And because he was a first overall pick, so he did get a decent amount of money, but like he was still a controlled young contract. The problem was they probably extended him a few months too early. Because they after his second year on this rookie deal, or third year, I forget, they signed him to the extension already. The extension hasn't kicked in. It'll kick in when the league year starts in March, and that's why it's a good thing they got rid of him now. They have to take on some dead cap money, but they're giving him off to Detroit, and Detroit can get rid of him in 2 years if he doesn't work out either. It kind of works out on both sides contract-wise.
Well,
I have a question real quick on
But
that.
they committed a lot of money to him, and that was a mistake only because you changed your mind like 13 months after you signed him to the extension. So,
But did I read somewhere that one of the first round picks was to get Matthew Stafford. The other first round pick was to get the Lions to take Jared. Basically, they gave 2 picks. One was to get rid of Stafford, and the other one was to get Goff. Like the Rams gave up the other pick to take Goff's money off their books, basically.
yeah. I mean, but the way the league works is you can't just get scot-free away from a big contract like that. You can't just
but it certainly helped, didn't it?
Right. It helps out a lot. I think the Rams are between Jared Goff and Todd Gurley, they have $22 million of dead cap space that they can't use, which not great, but it's better than having the $40 million on that.
Right.
I'm just gonna look. This is a really interesting situation because I think Matthew Stafford is still a great quarterback, and
He's still an upgrade on Jared Goff.
And he's definitely an upgrade on Jared Goff.
Right.
And unlike and it's nice to see a good player from the Detroit Lions actually get a chance to continue his career somewhere else instead of just retiring.
Has that ever happened before?
Barry Sanders retired and Megatron retired.
Yeah,
Usually Detroit beats the life out of you and you just quit.
So Matthew Stafford's actually getting a shot at like a playoff contender, which is good for him. Again, though, like my concern is that these, you give up all these draft picks. We talk about how maybe draft picks are overvalued. I don't necessarily think that is the case, and it's not because they're these sacred things that give you the best young players, because no, that's not always the case, but they are a very useful tool for, I guess, rejuvenating the roster every few years. Getting new blood in there, and it's not even a matter where it's like a draft pick needs to be the next great superstar or they're a bust. Your first round draft pick could be just a solid player who you can rely on, who's never going to make huge headlines, but they provide a much needed service to the team. The point that I'm getting at is that. And I think this is something that, Zach, you yourself said, this is a case where it's a win now situation. And if they don't win now, if this doesn't work out, then, the team is going to, then the team's going to be in kind of a long haul to get everything back up and running, to get everything to a point where
they'd be fine.
A rebuild can be made. And I'm not entire. And I guess my whole point is that, for all the good things this trade does, there is a downside that needs to be accounted for.
Here, my two counter arguments to that are, when it comes to team, let's think about a team that has been successful for the last 10 years, drafts at the end of the first round, but never hits on any of those draft picks. The New England Patriots,
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been drafting 28 and higher for 15 years, and I can't think of 3 first round picks that are 100% that's kept their franchise afloat. They get it done with depth and free agency and trade.
And Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But
the other argument, I don't think they're that fucked long term, because here's the deal. Matthew Stafford's contract is 2 years. And so that means we're coming up on the 2021 draft. So Matthew Stafford will be 2021 season, 2022 draft, no draft pick. 2022 season, 2023 draft, no draft.
Right, no draft.
Yeah.
So then let's assume that Matthew Stafford retires or leaves after those 2 years, or they don't extend them or something like that. Then the Rams are bad for 1 year. Guess when they finally get their draft pick again? That next season.
Well, Zach, you're assuming that they won't deal those picks. They would have dealt those picks by now if they could.
True. That's also true. Where they could just keep trading the draft pick because they don't really care about the draft pick. And if they can keep acquiring talent, I mean, it works. As long as they win and as long as they get what they want, then it's fine. If this situation goes sour, if they don't win, they don't succeed in the playoffs, if nobody's willing to trade with them, or they trade for, let's say even Stafford comes in and sucks, then it's like, all right, you made your shot, you got to live with it, and you got to reevaluate after that. But I think all things considered, I
like the move.
Rams have a good body, and they're putting on they're exchanging their heads, if you will, from Goff to Stafford. And I think we all agree that Stafford, at the very least, won't turn the ball over as much as Jared Goff did. And that's kind of all the team needs to be successful. Think of how good they were this year in spite of Jared Goff.
Well, here's a question I have with regard to the first-round draft picks. And believe me, as a Browns fan, I know all about first-round draft picks. Any one of us.
Yeah.
The Browns have had, my God, great picks for a very long time. The 3 that I can think of off the top of my head are Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward. I can't tell you who they drafted the year before because I don't remember. Or the year before that, because none of them made that much of an impact. It's a crapshoot unless you get a stone cold lock like an Andrew Luck or possibly Trevor Lawrence this year. You just don't know. I mean, Mitch Trubisky. I hate to bring him up, Andy, but he's a perfect example. Johnny Manziel was a first-round draft pick. So was Trent Richardson.
That's why it's exactly like I said. They're not trading these. They're not trading these draft picks for risk. They're trading them for established properties that are going to be good.
Well, I mean, you're trading a future.
Going to be good for a while, because he's young. Matthew Stafford is a proven Fondy quarterback.
Yeah, well, and you're trading future potential for guaranteed performance right now.
Exactly.
And you'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow gets here.
Well, anticipate it. So there's plenty of situations which I'm going to cite later because I don't have them on tip of my tongue right now, where guys have, changed teams, changed uniforms, and suddenly they just can't play with crap.
Well, Jim mentioned one in the comments, Herschel Walker going from the Cowboys to the Vikings was, one of those.
Well, that was
busts. Those were one of those busts where the Vikings gave up a lot to get Walker, and it just didn't work out.
Created a dynasty in Dallas.
But listen,
it did. It worked out great for Dallas.
This segues beautifully into a side conversation of a similar nature that I want to talk to you guys about. Is this whole Deshaun Watson business? The very creepy and religious Gospel of Texans organization, this creepy Easterby ran mess down in Houston. They have said they're not going to trade him, but then they kind of listed their demands. Essentially, he's being held hostage down there now. They are
probably literally, if you want the truth.
I mean, the claim right now, I guess, is that they say Watson, for minimum, the starting entry to the conversation is 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 young starting I think it's defensive players is what they want. That's just to get to the table. Deshaun Watson is 25. He's 2-time Pro Bowler, and we just saw how much that the Rams paid to not only get rid of the contract but also get Stafford and give up a 26-year-old quarterback that's very much in his prime. Do you think that Watson will be traded? And B, do you feel like this will match or exceed like the Ricky Williams trade, that kind of haul? Is it going to be the biggest trade potentially ever for a quarterback?
I think it's going to be because,
it has to be.
It had you say something you said, Andy, that the Texans have said that they don't want to trade him. That's kind of bullshit because Watson has said he wants out. And as a team, you can't go forward with a star player who's just, they've said they want out. Like that die has been cast. It has been established that he doesn't want to be there. So I think that at the end of the day, they are going to trade him because the alternative, kind of keeping him there against his will, is untenable. So a trade will happen. I don't know with who, but a trade will happen, and when it happens, it's going to be the biggest trade in history, at least as far as quarterbacks.
Yeah, because it came out today that J.J. Watt also would like to be traded.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like people keep saying that Watson really doesn't have any leverage because he is under contract and they don't have to trade him. They don't have to do anything he wants, which is true. But at the same time, what happens when the entire fan base revolts against what you're doing? Because it's not even because it seems like the fans are all on Watson's side with this because they see that our team has been mismanaged and they're trading away our star receiver for nothing, and now they've driven our quarterback out and they're hiring.
They're driving our best defensive player out.
It's. I would think that most Houston fans would rebel against the ownership at some point.
The funny thing about the trade with Watson, especially if it involves Miami, is that if Miami trades the first round picks they have, it'll be giving Houston back picks they originally had in the first place.
Well,
Which
and
just gives you an
and
idea of how screwed up it is.
the Miami thing makes it interesting in terms of when we're talking about what the assets are going to be moved around. Because if it is Miami, and you would assume that Tua would be going back the other way.
Yep.
And so does that
Yes.
mean that that's one less first round pick that you have to give up? Is that less, draft capital in total, whether it's second or third round picks that are thrown in there as well you have to give up? Or is it Tua and 2 first round picks,
That
Tua and 3 first round picks?
I think what you're looking at, if I'm Miami, I go to them and I say, here's what we'll do. Because doesn't Miami have 2 first round picks this year?
I believe they do. I believe they're
Yes.
the top 3.
Yeah.
They
One
have
of the-
they
one
have
of
they
the
have
big
the
Houston.
one they have the one they got from Houston,
Yeah.
and then they have their own.
So you offer them Tua, the 2 first rounders this year, and I don't know if they what are they because the problem
They
with this is,
want 2 second rounders as well.
all right, one this year and one next year. I would do that deal, and I think the problem too, and this is just it creates a problem for Deshaun Watson, but the Rams, the Goff Stafford trade, pretty high price. And you look at that going, boy, if they can get that for Goff or, get that for Stafford, what can we get for Deshaun Watson? So it's going to make them, I think, if you can overvalue a talent like Deshaun Watson, and I think maybe you can in terms of draft capital, but if I'm Miami, I think that Miami's the only one that makes sense. I don't think the Jets have enough to give.
No.
Miami
Yeah.
does. He wants to go there.
Well,
And
but that's
boy, would they be good all of a sudden if they got him.
So obviously there's a lot of people who are, Bears centric, who are just trying to figure out the Bears angle of this, because a lot of Bears fans, want Watson desperately, despite the fact that it would be really embarrassing for the Bears GM to have to trade a wealth of riches to acquire a guy he probably should have drafted in the first place 4 years ago. Fucking moron franchise Bears. Anyway, the comparable trade to this, a lot of people have been pointing back to, again with the Bears related, is the whole Jay Cutler trade back in 2009. I think it was 2009, early 2009, where the Broncos gave up Cutler and a 5th round pick for for Kyle Orton and 2 first round picks and a 3rd. And that
Isn't
was
that kind of amazing, the difference in draft values from then to now?
yeah, and I don't know what
trade assets.
Well, it's kind of like looking at the Ricky Williams trade, for example. I mean, it was an extreme
that was-
trade. They trade their entire draft class to move up to literally their entire draft class to move up to the 4th overall or something like that to take Williams. I mean,
I thought he went did he go number 1 overall? I don't remember. But it was that if there's a dumbest trade in NFL history, it's that one. Has to be.
that's probably the most.
Well, I don't know. That
embarrassing.
Dallas Herschel Walker trade was pretty dumb too on the Vikings part, but
Well, the Herschel Walker, the Ricky Williams thing, the Walker one makes sense because at least he was, a proven commodity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
but
we're talking
yeah,
about worst trades, I think the Ricky Williams one is
it's dumber. Yeah.
dumber.
I mean, poor Ricky Williams. That guy, I heard him. He was actually on ESPN earlier today, and he's, I seem like he's doing fine. But I mean, that guy was involved in 2 huge trade deals. But who could forget the
And a stint in the CFL.
Yeah, and he was on the cover of I think it was it Sports Illustrated with the wedding dress
Wedding dress.
Yeah.
and the
Big
clutch.
Yeah.
He must
But,
have been smoking some fine weed that day when they said, "Hey, we're going to put you in
Was
this
he,
wedding dress." He's like,
did
"Okay."
he ever get on the cover of Madden?
No, I don't think so.
no.
Okay.
Maybe as a college player, like the NCAA game, he might have. I think I'm not sure.
So he had a decent, halfway decent career. He probably did more in Miami than he ever did in New Orleans. But
Yeah, he was solid. I don't know if he was 7 draft picks were solid, but he was solid.
no, but that's the thing is like because when it comes to the trading Deshaun Watson, let's say that the Houston Texans had the Miami Dolphins on the phone, and then they're talking to the New York Jets as well. And the Chicago Bears, and they say, and the Dolphins say, okay, we've got all these picks. We're gonna give you all these picks. Take them. And then they say, well, we want more. And it's like, well, why do you want more? Like we know that the Jets and the Bears can't match the package that we're offering you for this guy. And they say, well, because you have it. You know, like basically we have a 25-year-old Pro Bowl quarterback with a reasonably, you know, team-friendly contract.
Yeah.
Well, pay us everything we want. Everything you have.
The way that I look at it is that if you have the opportunity to get a franchise quarterback, you do everything in your power to do it. But on the other hand, like if Houston wants to play that game and still they're going to get stuck holding the bag at some point.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he's not going to play. He'll just sit out.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
He just won't. He's not going to play for Houston ever again.
No, that's done.
Like he's not answering the phone calls. There's no communication with them whatsoever. He's not playing. So you can keep playing for your king's ransom, and if nobody gives it to you, and if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, and everybody's pissed at you, then what do you do?
Well, this just goes to a deeper problem. Andy brought it up when we first talked about this topic, about how the ownership or management of the Texans, it seems like incredibly weird. Not in like, this isn't just a case where this is a poorly run team. Like, there's some weird cultish sort of behavior going on here. The whole, Bill O'Brien, I'm beginning to see, was not the problem so much as just a symptom of an ownership group that desperately wants things done a certain way and is going to move heaven and earth to do it, even if it's not in the franchise's best interests.
What are they trying to be? The Liberty University of the NFL or what?
Basically, yes.
Well, that's that shit never works. Trust me.
People are saying that essentially Easterby has basically infiltrated and runs the team now for all intents and purposes down there in Houston. And people have speculated online that it wouldn't be a shock if McNair turns up dead in a few weeks with a recently changed will that gives the team to Easterby to run. But I mean, he's on
the air situation.
Yeah, they I guess he's been texting players' mothers after he doesn't get calls back from his agents.
Yeah, some weird
stuff
shit
like that
going on there. Yeah,
like it's very much. Go ahead, Zach.
Well, I know Mike and Greg probably seen this, but the urinating tree video on Houston.
Yeah, the what was it? The succubus?
Succubus, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, like Houston, and it seems more and more every single day, whether it's baseball free agency now or what's happening with the Texans. Like, holy crap! This city somehow sold its soul to get that one tainted World Series. Everything that's happened to that.
Especially Harden wearing a fat suit to get off of the. The Rockets.
Like, Harden's off the Rockets, and now the Rockets are going in the tank, and the Astros are losing guys like Brantley and Springer, and
Springer wanted out so bad he went to
Texans
Toronto.
are imploding as a football team before our very eyes.
I know the Texans are self-immolating. It's just it's so strange how that whole city's sporting culture has evaporated in the span of like 4 years.
You don't fuck with the baseball gods. It's that simple.
It's so strange. But
they're learning the hard way now that you just don't do that.
And not that we give a damn about the Houston Texans, but like,
I like their helmets.
They have very good uniforms. I'll give them that.
They've been okay. But like, otherwise, they've been such a nothing franchise since their inception.
Well,
if this is how this guy really wants to do this, then he's going to learn really quickly that that's not how you make a successful franchise in the NFL.
No, you don't call players mother. That's not how you run an NFL team. Like, these aren't college kids. These are grown men, professional athletes. Like, treat them as such.
Yeah, but he's probably a good religious man, and
oh well, I'm sure that'll win you a Super Bowl.
Well, it's like
I'll call their mamas. That'll help.
It's the same sort of thing as when you bring in a college coach and they don't work in the NFL because they can't treat these grown men like children.
Yeah,
this isn't even treating them like college age kids. This is
high school bullshit.
I would argue it's not even a high school thing.
Yeah. This is like grade school. It's like you didn't call back the principal called. You didn't call back, so I'm calling your mother.
With all the things that we're saying, or Andy's saying about like the views of this guy, it really does sound like some church league football team where like, Billy said a naughty word when he got hit the other day. We just can't have that.
Mhm.
Like, okay.
There was some blasphemy. I did hear some blasphemy during practice.
So are we gonna have a prayer group on the sidelines for Texans games?
I hope so. I would. That would be the greatest thing ever. Come on.
I hope that every player that wants to gets the hell out of there and just leaves that franchise in ruins.
Like
let
when
the ownership
both
reflect the
JJ
product.
Watt and Deshaun Watson are like, no, like we want to leave. Like
Especially JJ Watt, who has literally given every
Everything.
ounce of blood and tendons in his body to play for this stupid football team.
Mhm.
He's the absolute emblem of a guy that you want at the front of your football team. When he finally says, "Yeah, I don't know if this is the place for me anymore," then should really tell you what's going on.
Well, the whole thing is, I mean, Zach, you mentioned that they've always sort of been a nothing franchise, and that is true. But like, there were a number of years there where they seemed like they were on the cusp of breaking through. And
No, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl one year on the old football show. They were
They
looking
did.
so good. Yeah.
and of course they never really got through that level, but like they were right on the cusp of maybe building something. And it's just so odd to see this team that, seemed to be moving at least in the right direction is now, within like 2 years going from, oh, hey, they could be a playoff dark horse to like, this is garbage. They're being run by, the fucking, local pastor, and now everyone wants to leave.
Man,
Well, go ahead.
go ahead. I say the players talk, man. Like it doesn't take long for things to turn sour.
Mhm.
I think there's a big difference between like doing what, for example, like the Bengals did for a long time, or what the Bears are doing now, to where it's like, hey, decent market, come get paid. We're professionals. We may not win all the time, but we're professionals. We will, we'll get you through to either your next franchise where you'll actually win, or we'll give you a nice, comfortable career, and the team will give you free hamburgers after you retire, stuff like that. But like when it comes to just the poisonous, like if your ownership makes your experience like a living hell to the point to where like not even Jimmy Jones level, like Jimmy Jones, he knows probably when to stop. Whereas this Easterby guys, when you're texting or calling people's mothers, people's parents, because their fucking players and their children and their agents won't return their calls, maybe you should stop and look in the mirror and realize, maybe something's fucked up here. Maybe something is very fucked up. Also, nobody's going to come there because people. Because like I say, their agents are going to tell. They all share collective agents to where
And their agents are, JJ Watt's agent's going to tell his other clients, like, no, stay clear.
Stay away.
Beyond football. If you are in any job anywhere and your boss is calling your mother,
Oh, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
that's when you say, yeah, you know what? No, thank you. I can go do this job somewhere else where it's not so weird.
The thing about it, right, is that I would rather play for a team like the Bears, and I know Andy, earlier today he called them like dumbass franchise, like, but no, I'd rather play for the Bears because at least they're just merely incompetent, and it's like. It's a well-meaning incompetence where it's like, they're trying their very best. They just don't make the best decisions, but they are at least a professional football team that acts like a professional football team. And maybe you're not going to win a Super Bowl, but you can have a nice career there. And
Well, not only that, but even if they're not very good, you're still a Chicago Bear.
you're still a Chicago Bear. Yeah. One of the legacy franchises. And you're wearing one of the best uniforms in football. So
damn straight.
Yes.
but like it's like I'd rather be in that situation as like an athlete than in like this fucking Handmaid's Tale cultist bullshit that seems to be going on in Houston right now. So
But that's the
When
thing.
we're
That's
talking
why.
about
No,
Go ahead.
I was going to say the only thing I think the Bears, that's the advantage they have by having a trade piece to send back to Houston. Nick Foles is the dark horse here because that guy can quote the Bible. So I think that if they can if they really harshly sell, like if they say like Nick Foles, he leads like prayer groups, he does like he can quote these Bible passages, they'll be like, oh my God, we'll give you 3 first round.
Well, Nick Foles will quote scripture on the way to the Super Bowl. There you go.
Yeah. Nick Foles, so all of a sudden now you're getting Deshaun Watson and a couple of picks.
They'll give up everything to get Bible thumping Nick Foles.
Go ahead.
In the sphere of Nick Foles and in the sphere of what Mike, you were just saying about professional football teams acting professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard the story of new Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni?
No, as far as
conference?
bullshit coach hires have gone, I've just kind of been captivated by the Detroit situation. I haven't looked at anything else.
First off, the Eagles interviewed him while he was on vacation, and because he was on vacation, he didn't wear a suit to the interview.
Okay.
So I guess the Eagles that said, "Oh, well, we'll make you comfortable. We'll also wear T-shirts during the interview."
Oh, for fuck's sake!
That is amazing. That's fucking amazing.
I don't know if you saw his opening press conference, but it was incoherent.
Do we have another? All right, is he gonna give Dan Campbell a run for his money on the racist?
Is this gonna be another guy who just
Dan Campbell? Give him all the shit you want for that stupid speech because it's stupid, but he at least had a vision. Nick Sirianni went up there and mumbled his ass through like, well, our football team is going to be a smart football team because we're going to have guys that know what they're doing, and
he's fired.
Guys that know what they're doing are going to be smart, and we're going to implement systems that are going to be easy to learn. It's going to be difficult for the opponent to see what we're doing. It's going to be confusing to the opponent, but it'll be easy for us because it'll be easy for us to learn and hard for them to know. We're going to have smart people that are putting together a smart football team because they're smart folk, and go Eagles.
Like Andy said, that dude's fired. Like the guy's got to be fired.
Let me see if I can find the press conference.
And all the while, Eric Bieniemy is still without a job.
How is Eric Bieniemy still not have a job?
Well,
like this motherfucker.
Let me clarify to you why Eric Bieniemy doesn't have a job. Besides the fact that we discussed that he's black, and besides that he's got a ancient criminal history or whatever. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason I think he does not have a job is because he's simply too straightforward. He's too candid. I think that there's I think the Detroit's hire of Campbell goes well outside of the norm for many reasons, but namely because Campbell just kind of says whatever the hell he wants. And he's going to say whatever he wants. And I think that the NFL generally on the whole is very scared of that. And that's why we, slanderously predicted that he's going to drop some racial slur or homophobic slur.
He'll call one of the female refs a lesbian or something.
Or he can hit the trifecta and hit all three.
All three at once.
Single press conference, just go off on a lesbian black referee.
The thing about Campbell is going to be it's not even going to be said in anger. It's just going to be he's just going to slip. It's just going to be matter of fact. Yeah.
He'll probably have a play aimed with a slur in it or something like that.
We were doing fine until that dyke ref just, I don't know what she was thinking. That'll be it.
But that's the thing, is I think Bieniemy people are generally afraid of that is part of it. But I think so. But that's one speculation. That's something I read earlier today that kind of rang true.
I mean, why? Okay, but my question is this: it's like we've had a lot of coaches that are just come right out and say what they're going to. Like Bruce Arians is a guy that doesn't really pull any punches. But,
right. Well, listen, but Bruce Arians, just to further that point, and this will give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. So, and again, I'm sorry, I feel like I've talked about the Chicago Bears 12 times tonight, but the Bears, for example, many years ago, they interviewed their GM interviewed Bruce Arians for their head coaching position, and they also interviewed a guy named Mark Trestman. And they decided instead of going with the more unpredictable, not sure if we want to go that direction, Bruce Arians, who could possibly be overcritical, say something we don't know. They went with Mark Trestman, who's very much a very the similar pass through. Just we're going to grow the man. We're going to deal with these people. We're going to deal with players as people first.
Was it true he only thought that there were 3 downs like in Canadian football?
I don't know. I have tried to purge as much Mark Trestman from my memory as possible. So
oddly enough, so have I, because he was the Browns offensive coordinator and it was terrible.
But Arians went on to one more thing. So Arians goes on to Arizona, and then Tampa Bay. He's had a nice career. Mark Trestman was fired. He went to Baltimore. Now he's in the CFL. I don't know what he's doing. Fuck him.
No, he's not in the CFL anymore. Last I heard, he was the coach for the Tampa Bay Vipers in the XFL.
Oh God. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot he did that. Shit.
Yeah.
But then the Bears also had a situation where they're looking to hire a new general manager. And so they interviewed who turned out to be the general manager of the Colts, whose name escapes me at this moment. Doesn't matter. Anyway, they interviewed that guy, and he basically said, "Your organization sucks. I want to make some big changes and turn this franchise around." And they said, "We're going to go with this other guy, this kid from New Orleans." And the Bears have been what they've been for the past few years, and the guy in Indianapolis has done a great job turning that franchise around. So there are certain teams who are willing to take a risk with people's words and people's demeanor and stuff. And there's many other franchises that are not. Sorry. I feel like I talked for like 2 minutes straight there. So
no, but with the enemy though, I'm just thinking like, Bill Belichick's not known as a warm and fuzzy,
Yeah. You can do that when you win. When you win, you can have license to do pretty much whatever you want.
Eric Bieniemy's about to have 2 Super Bowl rings, so I think he's going to have a little bit of cachet to. I just don't get it. I mean,
you think so?
I'm positive of it.
Okay, so hold on. Zach sent me a clip here of the this press conference here. I feel like we should enjoy it together.
It's really like apparently the whole press conference was not really anything to write home about, but this was the clip that got circled around of people being like, "This guy."
All right, here we go. We ready?
Yep. I'm ready to go.
Go.
To me is that we build a smart football team, that we have a smart football team here. And I know we have the people in place to do that. The first part of being smart is knowing what to do. We're going to we're going to have systems in place that are easier to learn. All right, complicated to the defense or offense that they're going against, or the special teams group they're going against, easy for us to learn. Because when we can when we can learn our system and we can get good at our system,
when we can learn and be good, we'll be smart.
Thinking equals talent take over, but we need to have systems in place, and we will have systems in place to do so.
Oh my God!
That is the perfect example of saying a lot and saying nothing at the same time.
We will be smart because we will know what to do, and smart people know what to do.
I love that. The first thing about being smart is knowing what to good. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Can you? I mean, the people of Philadelphia are going to murder this guy.
Oh my God! How did he get through an interview with an NFL team to get the job?
He was on.
They all wore T-shirts.
He was on Frank Reich's staff in Indianapolis, and Frank Reich, and he also worked with Frank Reich when they won the Super Bowl in Philly. So he had a connection to the organization already.
Don't care. He sounds like a moron.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
come on. I've seen like really bad high school teachers that don't know the first fuck all thing about anything they're trying to teach do a better job of explaining themselves than that. That reminded me of like a bad, like when I covered high school football, you always had 2 or 3 teams that were good and everybody else was just the dregs of the league. They would win one game if they were lucky. That's the coach they always had, was that guy. That was like the guy that coached the 1-9 team that scored 14 points all season. It was that dude.
We're gonna have systems in place with smart people who are smart, who know what they're doing because they are smart people, and the systems will be there.
Systems in place that are easier to learn, complicated to the defense or offense they're going against, but easy for us to learn because when we can learn our system, we can be good at our system, then our talent can take over. Basically, we don't want our players thinking too much.
You wait and see. That fucking Jamoke's going to win like 4 straight Super Bowls and make us look like idiots.
No, certainly.
I am confident that won't happen.
No, that guy's not winning anything. He's fired within 2 years.
Although, could you imagine an NFC title game between that guy's Eagles and Campbell's Lions? Like
that was going to be my next question. Who would you rather have as your football coach, Nick Sirianni or Dan Campbell?
Dan Campbell just for the laughs. Come on,
Dan Campbell would be fun.
Yeah. Give me Campbell all day long for that. That is unendurable.
If I've got to watch the world burn, I want to be entertained while I'm watching it. That's all I'm saying.
So you'd rather have your kneecaps bitten off than be a smart team?
Right.
I
Yes.
mean, there's only I get it. When it comes to, I'm not a professional media person for the National Football League. I can't imagine being a local beat writer or reporter for Philadelphia, and you go. This is the first press conference of this guy's potentially long career, and he gives you that, and that was just 40 seconds. Like, can you imagine the full, probably close to an hour?
He opened the press conference with like a list of 5 core values for the team, and that was one of them.
You.
So that was like
no, okay. That core value bullshit. That's high school nonsense.
Yeah,
all right.
Let me see if I can pull it back up.
That's what you do in high school. That's what maybe you can get away with that in university. 5 core values. These are grown men, professional athletes. Jesus Christ.
The 5 core values were connections. Sirianni wants the players to connect. Yeah. He wants players to connect with the players, coaches connect with coaches, players to connect with coaches. And if you care about the other people on your team, you'll push harder for them. Okay.
This is second grade?
That's the first one. Competition is the second one, because teams that compete hard every day are better positioned to win close games.
As opposed to the teams that don't compete? I mean, what? Like everybody, name one team in any sport that doesn't compete, that just says, fuck it, we're not even going to try.
Arguably the Jets.
Okay, well, besides that,
he wants his team to have
even their lack of competition, they still accidentally fucked up and won twice. I mean,
that's true. That is true.
Help themselves. But that we're going to compete. Guys. Every time you step on the field, you're competing. Maybe not as well as the other team, but you're competing.
He wants them to be. He wants them to have accountability. He wants them to be a smart football team. Sake. And they have to work on the fundamentals. It's not just about having ability. They have to be in the best position to win one-on-one matchups with proper technique and fundamentals. This is a high school football coach.
I mean,
this is a grade school coach.
Is he worse than David Culley?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know who? Well, do you guys? Well, first of all, when I say David Culley, do you know who I'm talking about?
I know the Astros new coach, the Texas coach. He's a Andy Reid disciple, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but I
think maybe Andy Reid's first disciple by his age, but
he's 65.
If you put all of the new coaches that have been hired this offseason like in front of me right now, I wouldn't tell you which one was David Culley.
Wait, is he Andy Reid's disciple or one of Jesus' original disciples?
Let's see. I would recognize Dan Campbell because he'd be yelling at me and calling me racist terms even though I'm white.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer I'd recognize.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Which has gone just completely nobody's
okay, because because whatever the fuck the Eagles and Lions are doing, like Urban Meyer just seems like a normal hire. It's like, yeah, we hire this
a very successful guy that the Jaguars came and said, "Hey, we'll give you a ton of money to coach us," and he said, "Sure."
And he said, "Sure," and it's like, "Oh, okay." So the football team hired a football coach, and that's just fucking boring when we can have bite off their kneecaps, and the synergy of the smart people with the systems will be amazing when the smart people arrive to do the synergy.
And the systems, don't forget the systems.
And the systems, yes.
Yeah.
And the more I read about this Robert Saleh guy, Saleh, who's not the Jets head coach, I feel like I would probably give them the benefit of the doubt. That'll be fine. I don't think it'll be great.
Based on interacting with him as a guy that's in the NFC West all the time, he seemed pretty damn competent to me. But
yeah, his name was on short list for a couple years there too.
I mean,
not a surprise.
The only thing that I feel for the guy, because it's the Jets, so he's gonna have a lot of work to do. But if they give him the runway space needed to actually at least give it a good shot,
what I think I don't think they're going to be playoff ready or anything next year, but I think that they had more talent than. They had enough. They had talent. They just didn't seem to know how to coach it or put it together because of Adam Gase. But I think that team's probably closer to being solid again than we think it is, and he might be the difference. And if they can get a quarterback, or
their problem is that they got to get those wheels moving because the Bills are already there in the division.
Yeah,
it seems like the Dolphins are right around the corner, and so now you're going to be in a 3-team race with Bill Belichick always lurking in the shadows.
What about this? So the Falcons hired this guy Arthur Smith, and apparently he's a hot coaching candidate.
Sure.
Never heard of him.
I never heard of him, and I thought they hired the owner, the former Arthur Blank. Or whatever. And I was like, Arthur Blank. I thought he was dead. Like he's like 107 years old or something.
If I can teach Mexicans how to sell a hammer, then I can coach a football team.
God.
I mean,
Before people yell at me, it's because he owns Home Depot. That's the joke. It's a joke.
No one's gonna yell at you. We're fine. We're not.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't want to upset the
we're not.
Totinos.
We are not that kind of persons. Don't worry about that, folks.
I know. I'm talking about the internet. The internet's always listening, Andy.
Don't cancel Basically Sports. Don't cancel.
They're not going to. They can all go fuck off. I won't let that happen. I might be talking by myself, but I won't let it happen.
The Chargers go with Brandon Staley, who's a guy. Who's what? He's a Rams coordinator, right?
The Rams defensive coordinator for 13 months.
Hey, at least he's got some experience.
And he knows Sean McVay, which is always a good.
And he gets to keep his parking spot. So,
and not only that, I heard he's got like 3 systems that he uses, not just one, but 3.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, he uses the Vic Fangio defensive system, which confuddled McVay's offense.
The Vic Fangio defensive system sounds like something they sell at midnight on an infomercial.
Yeah, right. Well, and Sean McVay hired him specifically because he's like, you play defense in a way that frustrates my offense, so that means that you're a good like chess master to go against. And then he was only there for a year.
For 3 payments of $39.95, you can get the Vic Fangio defensive plan.
Yeah, it's like 4 VHS tapes that you get over the period of a few weeks.
Yeah, I feel like the problem is these guys. There are a bunch of guys that we don't know, or I think in the situations of Staley and maybe Saleh too, maybe they might just be like the guys that are awesome coordinators but not good head coaches. There's no way to know.
It could be just a trend, like with just hiring basically young unknown coaches, just giving them a chance to basically say to grow into the job. And
so of course, with that being the trend, Houston goes out and hires a 65-year-old guy.
Well, Houston is the like bald, like not just bald like from age, but bald from like we're not even going to try and hide it. We're basically just going to hire friends of the former Patriots pastor and just load up on just a bunch of trash and peddle it out there every few months for Houston fans to pay season ticket prices for. So have fun, Houston, bunch of assholes.
The only thing that bums me out about this is that they're not going to be the automatic. There's no more Houston Texans Bowl now with the playoffs. We're going to have to give that honor to someone else. Or should it always be the Houston Texans Bowl?
It's the end of an era.
Yeah, it really kind of is.
Don't worry, the Bengals will be there in a year or two to take the mantle. It's fine.
Yeah, then it'll be the Bengals Bowl,
the Joe Burrow Bowl.
Should we give any time to the Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
You know what? I'm just gonna say yeah, because on one hand, I get why maybe you're not excited, but here's the thing. One, and again, y'all can check the record. I called the Bucks as my team before anyone was even talking about Brady going to them, and on top of that, like this is the first time I can actually say like my favorite team's going to the Super Bowl. So
it's not
y'all can take your haterade and shove it because I'm excited.
All right,
it wasn't meant to be an attack on you, Mike. Oh, there he goes. All right, well, you did what you had to do, Greg. You got canceled, Mike. I'm sorry.
We canceled you for a second there.
Well,
show you where the real power is here.
The
I'm
point
excited
is,
for you, Mike. I am.
The point is that on a certain level, it's like, I don't know, people bitching about it's like, oh, Tom Brady, and I'm just kind of going, yeah, you know what, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good time. So.
Well, Mike, I heard that somebody slipped a strawberry into Tom Brady's water. So
that was me. I did that.
Well, I mean,
while we're there, why doesn't he eat strawberries? What's the point?
I don't fucking know. I haven't read his book.
It's the sugar.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead, Mike. Sorry, I just had to ask.
I haven't read his book, but at the end of the day,
I gotta find it, and there's a guy I follow who's a CBS sports writer, Pete Blackburn. For the last week, it finally ended for him yesterday, but he tried the TB12 diet for a week and wrote about
And
it.
died.
So,
But I don't know. I guess the point that I'm making in all of this ultimately amounts to it's like I don't know what y'all expect out of me because it's like I don't know the team I like made the Super Bowl. Am I not gonna be happy about it?
no, of course, we just just giving you crap. No, like the most amazing thing I think for you as a newly branded Buccaneers fan, Mike,
Mhm.
is if they follow all of our advice and the advice of this Buccaneers USA Today column I saw yesterday, that the Buccaneers should never change uniforms ever again because this is they only make Super Bowls in the first year that they wear these or the first couple years they wear these jerseys. So
Well, but wait a minute. That wasn't okay. Well, it was within a few years.
yeah, it
was,
was
Like
over a couple years.
6.
was it USA Today that erroneously said this was the first ever color matched Super Bowl, and then
A lot of people said that.
it turned
Yeah.
out that one, it wouldn't be, and two, it's not even a color matched Super Bowl because the Reds are different.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's the plebeians, Mike.
The
Don't-
plebeians who
The,
don't.
the,
yes.
Yeah, the
They
civilians.
don't know their Pantones like we do.
The civilians are all out there going, "Oh my god, it's the first time ever that both teams
Look,
have the
they
primary
both wear
logo."
red.
And it's like,
It's like-
no.
Morons, the 49ers and Chiefs played last year.
And all of us in our world, we're like, look at these fucking morons. They can't see the difference in those two reds. Come on.
By the
But
way-
I don't know. As far as the only thing I will say about the Super Bowl, as far as like actual, I guess, analysis is the Bucks played the Chiefs close in the regular season.
Wasn't it
Also-
also the game that Tyreek Hill had like 700 yards in the first quarter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, he did, and the Chiefs only won by like a field goal. So,
Well.
so I guess my point is that the Saints beat the crap out of the Bucks twice, and the Bucks beat them. So I'm not saying the Bucks are going to win the Super Bowl, but I'm saying I think it's going to be a close game. I think it will be closer than some people think, and that's going to be that. I think it'll be cool.
You gotta
And
give
that's
us
that's as
no,
far
no,
as I'm
no.
going to go.
No,
on-
no, no,
on-
no, 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 no. You have to make a pick with a score like everybody else does.
Okay.
For purposes, the spread of the game is 3.5, with Kansas City being the favorite.
As far as I don't know, picking I'll make a pick, and the pick is I'll just pick the Bucks because I've picked them so far, and they've won of the 3 games they've won 2 that I didn't think they'd win, so I'll stick with them. As for the score, I hate picking scores, but if you're gonna make me, Tampa is gonna win by 10.
10?
But no, we need is all right, fine.
No, that's fine.
Okay, fine.
37 to 27. How's
30
that
to
sound?
40, Tampa.
Okay.
There you
All
go.
All right.
Tampa dropping 40. I think we've talked about the actual football of it all for a while. I think we all know who these teams are and what they do.
Yep.
I hate Tom Brady, but that's not why I'm not picking him. I just think every time I've seen the Chiefs, I say, God damn, every single one of their players are so fast. So I'm going to go Kansas City 35-24.
Andy?
I'll go Bucks. 30,
God, excuse me.
Bucks sneeze. I don't know. Bucks 35, Chiefs 30, 31.
Oh.
I'm going to go with I've learned my lesson. I will never do it again. I'm not picking against Tom Brady. But that man, see that my
He
thing
said
is that,
today he's going to play until he's 45, so you'll have other
oh
shots.
fuck him. I gotta go. Yeah, all right.
Or he
No,
said he's going
I-
to play past 45, I think. he
That
said.
it's the Bucks defense is really good. Okay. And they're playing at home. literally at home, and the Chiefs don't come in until what, Saturday?
Yeah.
And I know the Chiefs are really good. What's the weather supposed to be here Saturday, Mike, or Sunday? Do we know, Mike?
So interesting fact. I looked into this is going to be the last Super Bowl Tampa's ever going to get because there's a 50% chance of rain. So
that won't stop anything. I mean, the Colts beat the Bears in the rain. I mean, it's.
I really, my heart wants me to pick the Chiefs, my head wants me to pick the Chiefs, but I really got this feeling that I don't know. I think Brady cements it. I think he finally just puts the last dagger in me with this game. I'm taking in a lower scoring game that people think it's going to be Tampa Bay 28, Kansas City 24.
Well, the thing about I don't know. So the one thing I'd say, I guess, I don't know if you want to do Mike's keys to the game, but if Tampa is going to have a shot here, like what they've got to do is as good as the Chiefs are, I've noticed every time I've watched them that they tend to go in spurts. Like they will actually kind of play very, very low key football until they, eventually they just decide, oh, okay, we're going to ramp it up. And so if the Bucs are going to have any shot at actually beating them, then I think the key is going to be the second quarter, because I have noticed that, a lot of times, and this is by far not a scientific analysis. I haven't actually cataloged any of this, but I've noticed that the Chiefs, spurts tend to occur when they do occur in the second quarter. Like you look at a box score where the Chiefs will put up like 45 on a team, and it's like 7 in the first, like 0 in the third, 3 in the fourth, and then like 35 in the in the second. Like they just kind of go off. They just kind of go off in the second quarter. And of course, that doesn't mean that they can't score in any other periods. But I think that if the Bucs can find a way to weather those storms, then they'll be in a good position. So, like, they just need to. I think they need to come out like just absolutely uninhibited and play, foot to the throat defense against that Chiefs offense and just never let up, because it's the only way that they are actually going to hold them down. Because if they let them, if they let that team, have one of their spurts where they put up something like 28 or 35 points in a quarter, you're not going to come back from that.
They need to be smart. They need to have a smart system. They need to have a good system, an easy system.
Exactly.
And they need to bite the kneecaps.
Yeah, but the thing that we're all going to be paying attention to more than the actual X's and O's, of course, are one of the things I love to do every year is go through the weird prop bets.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. What are our prop bets this year?
So they're like I'm not going to talk about the ones that are for like the pregame shows.
Wait,
and the
before we do that, Zach, I had an idea that I don't want to forget about. I think we should take their rosters and pick the most unlikely MVP on both teams. Like the person that's just like would be the most amazing miracle if they got it. Like
you're stealing a Bill Simmons bit.
No. This is not. This is the MVP. Like, okay,
that's not the Henry Heidoski.
No, I'm thinking like an offensive tackle or.
Yeah. I mean, of course you're not going to.
All right. See, if this was the CFL, we could talk about the most outstanding Canadian. But
we really need one of those.
Maybe we should have that anyway. Is there any Canadians?
I don't think there's. I don't think there are enough Canadians, if any.
All right. Well, never mind. Then skip it. Go to the prop bets.
All right. I'm skipping the stuff that's like for the pregame show. And how long is the national anthem going to be? Or no, like that's normal stuff. During the broadcast of the game itself, from when the official CBS game broadcast starts, what will be said first? Groin or hamstring?
Well, that's a good one. What are the odds?
They're both minus 120. So you have to bet 120 to win 100.
Well, I think that somebody on one of these teams is coming off a groin injury, so I'm going to roll with groin on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have to say groin myself.
I don't know. No, I'm giving a lot of thought to this. Really okay, groin. It's groin is the safe bet, but yeah.
I'd say groin.
Yeah, all right.
Because CBS has a new version of The Equalizer coming out. If you haven't seen
The Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
Equalizer, yes.
How many times will Queen Latifah be said by Jim Nance? The over-under is 1.5.
Oh.
Well, is it debuting after the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, way over. Way over.
I think it is. Let me double check.
Because I mean, if the first episode is right after the Super Bowl, then shit. I mean, it's going to be at least I'd probably say 8 to 10 times minimum.
I was going to go 6.
February 7th. So yeah.
Yeah,
Sunday.
no,
Okay.
way over. That's an easy. That's easy.
If it's gonna be over, it's gonna be over. I don't think it's gonna be as high as 7. I'm gonna say solid 4.
But we're all agreement over though, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting because 1.5 has the under. The under has lower odds than the over does, which is like you get a higher payout if you bet the over, which is like we're all saying. I think that like he has to say Queen Latifah, not just the Equalizer, but Queen Latifah, and I think that's.
Oh, wait a minute! Hold on a minute. Hold on.
No. I think that she is part of the deal. I think they're going to say it's going to be part of the read.
Yeah, it's gonna be part. Yeah, I think I agree with that too. So I'm sticking with the over. Yeah, I think 4 to 6 times easy.
What is going to be the primary color of Bruce Arians' flat cap? The favorite is red. Coming in the middle, you have white, gray, and then black is the big underdog.
I'm gonna say white. He's gonna color coordinate it because they've chosen to wear the white uniforms. So
what's he worn every other week in the playoffs?
I think it's been red usually.
I think it's been red.
I'm going with red. Yeah, these players and coaches are creatures of habit. I'm going with red. They're not going to if they're staying with the same uniforms, they're not messing with anything. So I'm saying with red.
Yeah, I would say red makes the most sense. I imagine red. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's the favorite. That probably makes the most sense. Will Tony Romo correctly predict an offensive play?
Yes.
Yes.
More than likely. Yeah, because you're going to say no.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Because when I was watching the last Chiefs game, the AFC title game, there were a couple times like, "Oh, Jim, they're going to do this right here," and then they didn't, and I was like, "Has Tony Romo lost his edge?" But
I mean, to be fair, he was surprised by the College Football Hall of Fame induction that he was given.
What?
That game, I think. Yeah, that's
not true, is it?
It is. He's a member of the College Football Hall of Fame
for what he did in Northern Illinois,
Eastern Illinois, sir.
Eastern.
Fellow,
also the home of Sean Payton, right?
Sean Payton. There's been several NFL coaches. The guy who coached the Broncos for the longest time, Mike Shanahan. There was the guy who coached the Vikings. It's in Jimmy Garoppolo is from Eastern Illinois. I mean, they've had a few reasonably. Anyway, but no,
they should petition to join the Big Ten and give Ohio State a run for their money.
No,
they probably beat actual Illinois.
Probably.
What will be said first by Tony Romo? In decreasing order of odds, read, penetration, blitz, A-gap, trick play.
I'm gonna say trick play.
There's a lot.
I think he breaks out a trick play prediction early.
No, I think Reed has got to be the far and away because I think he's going to go on and be like, Jim, look at the way that Tom Brady reads the defense. I mean, left to right, he goes through his progression so quickly. You got blah 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 blah. Like it's going to be Reed.
I've often wondered, and I think I even heard Al Michaels mention this last time he called the Super Bowl, that they could go out and bet on themselves.
Yeah,
and I mean, you could win a bunch of money. And you could totally manipulate the whole thing. But anyway, go ahead, Zach.
Over under, how many times will Tony Romo mention his children? The over under is 1/2. So either he does or he doesn't.
I'm going to say he doesn't.
Why would he mention his children?
I didn't even know he had kids. So that gives you an idea.
He has like 3 or 4. Yeah.
I mean, what has he routinely done this in his broadcasts?
I guess. Well, the under is the favorite. -500. Heavy favorite.
What a weird thing to make a prop. I just don't,
Exactly.
No. I mean, it just seems like such a
Will LeBron be said during the broadcast?
Is
Yes,
LeBron going to be there? Is he going to be present?
No, LeBron won't be there. He's with the Lakers. They're busy. But it could be comparing like
Oh, Tom Brady to
Tom
LeBron because
Brady
they're
to-
both old and yeah.
or LeBron like makes a tweet. They're
Both
like,
have fake hair.
LeBron is loving this game, and he goes,
I'm going to say no to that. I mean, LeBron, I know that he's with the Lakers. He's not. I could totally see him like, my calf. I got to go
Going to the
watch.
Super Bowl.
I got to go be a front
I
runner
need
or whatever.
load management. I need to.
yeah, no is the overwhelming favorite here at minus 1,000.
Yeah, I'd have to go with no. Well, wait. Nah, it's not going to happen.
No, I'm
there's
going to
no
say
way.
yeah. I'm going to say that he gets mentioned.
Pass. Nah. There's no way.
There's a whole bunch of these halftime show ones, but I don't know if you guys care about the weekend.
Not
No.
particularly, no.
Nope. Zero.
Post game stuff.
Metallica or bust.
That'd be awesome.
I know, right?
Color of the liquid. They can't say Gatorade. Color of the liquid poured on the winning coach. Orange, red, pink, yellow, green, lime, purple, clear, or blue.
I don't know why, but for some reason in my mind, it's always like lime, like lemon
Yeah.
lime. So yeah,
That's what I would say too.
I think it's going to be some shade of red. Like they'll just have their, not that it's color coordinated, but I just feel like they'll be, the Gatorade punch or whatever it'll be. I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
What group of players will pour the liquid on the coach? Will it be a defensive player or an offensive player, or will it be both?
It'll be LeBron. LeBron will come and dump the Gatorade on him. LeBron and Tony Romo's kids will come and dump the Gatorade on the winner.
There you go.
Whomever wins the MVP, who will they first refer to in their speech? Will they first refer to their teammates, God, the USA, the winning city, family, coaches, or the team owner?
God. It's always God.
God.
I'm going to go teammates.
Teammates is the favorite. It's only plus 100, but it's still the favorite.
Yeah.
What am I getting on God? What are my odds on that?
225 plus 225.
I'm sticking with teammates.
Yeah, I think God's a good bet at 225, but I would have to say teammates too. Yeah.
That's a good bet.
I want to see more players blame God when they lose.
Right.
That'd be
Well,
awesome if somebody just like thanked weed or something, or like painkillers.
I'd like to thank Vicodin, Totino's Pizza Rolls, and the system in that order.
Will Disney be said by the MVP?
Well,
I don't think so because nobody's going to Disney World this
Yeah, I
year.
don't think they're
So.
going to do that this year.
Well,
Yeah.
they
I will
do-
safely go to Disney World when it's open. Well, Disney World is open. Disneyland is not. And they're in Tampa, which is right up the road from Orlando. So,
Well, we may not know that the night of. I think because usually, so that night we'll probably find out. But it would be like usually it's after the game in a separate commercial because they usually have they basically have the commercial done. They're just waiting to have the
Get the
players
player.
say.
Yeah.
I'm going to Disney World.
Man, I remember
I'm
the
saying
first
yes.
time. The first time I saw that, I was like, "Did that really just happen?" I think it was Phil Simms after Super
Yeah.
Bowl 20. And they're like, Phil Simms, you just won the Super Bowl. And he's like, looks like the camera and goes, I'm going to Disney World. I'm like, wow, what? And yeah, because I didn't know it was like set up afterwards. I'm like, that's amazing.
Total times the word difficult is said by Roger Goodell during the post-game presentation.
30.
The over
Really, this was a difficult season and difficult times for difficult
Yeah.
people, and we got through the difficulty.
I'd say trying is more of the word that's going to be. These are trying. What a trying time.
Unprecedented times. Yeah.
They won't. They won't. Yeah, go ahead.
The last one that I have here in my favorite one, when Andy Reid is interviewed post game on the field, will the word burger be said by Andy Reid? Burger.
Yes.
But even if they lose, do you think so?
No.
Well, he wouldn't be
Yeah.
interviewed on the field after the game if he lost.
No, well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I think so. Yes. I think Burger's going to get in there.
Yeah, sure he'll get Burger.
I think that
No.
Andy Reid's a real trickster and likes to have a lot of fun. You just don't let
Somebody already asked him today at the media day, like, "Hey, Andy, if you win, are you gonna eat one of those big cheeseburgers you always talk about?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, if we win, definitely. There's a cheeseburger in my future. I'll tell you
There
what."
you go.
I wonder
Or
if he'll
two.
if he were to
Does he
lose.
still eat? You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that son of a bitch eats the cheeseburgers even when they lose. Like, I don't think he's.
I mean, yes.
That'd be
He's
great
not-
if he met Bruce Arians in the middle of the field after the game and like handed him a burger from his pocket, like he just had it in his pocket. One of the weirder. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, he's not maintaining that figure, only eating burgers after wins. That's for sure. Okay, what else we got? Anything?
That's the last.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up tonight, and we may not have time for it because of how things normally go when this gets brought up, but we've had a few reverse retro jerseys make the rounds.
Let's do a lightning round real quick.
and,
Like them or not, and be done with it.
I don't have pictures ready. Is there some on the home mothership
There's
of like in action?
Oh, we could just check. We can just check our text chat. I think they're all there.
Yeah, because there's the Penguins tonight are the fourth team to wear theirs, so I gotta we'll add the Penguins whites. They're on NBCSN right now. But the first two teams to wear theirs played against each other. It was Edmonton and Toronto. Edmonton with the white jerseys with the orange accents, and Toronto with the blue jerseys with the blue maple leaf and blue numbers and gray accents.
Maple Leafs looked awful, like I thought they would.
Yep.
Fuck them. Edmonton looked all right, but where's my RoboSperm?
Edmonton is like replacement level. Like,
Yeah.
Their normal ones are blue, like white with blue. So it's like, okay, that's good. And you just change the other primary color with the other primary color. It's like, yeah, okay, that's good too. Just, pick one, I guess. It's fine. And then the Leafs ones are just we all knew that they were going to look bad, but in action they looked even worse than I.
They're so dingy and like
very, very
Pitter patter.
Yeah, fine. I will say, looking at so I just popped over to NHL.com. The Penguins look good in theirs. I like Pittsburgh's.
Yeah, it looks fine. It's nothing like wow. It doesn't give you the same reaction that the Minnesota ones did.
Where'd you find it at? Where's it at?
It's on NHL.com. If you scroll down, there's a picture it says live Penguins at Rangers, and there's a shot of the Penguins in there.
Oh, there it is, right there. Okay.
Like when the Wild wore theirs last night, I knew I liked them, and then I seeing them on the ice with like the arena lighting against the white background. It really struck me how much they popped. I really love those Minnesota ones, and then these Penguins are kind of like this along the same lines as the Oilers one, where it's like, yeah, it's good, it's fine.
I don't know. I've always just loved the Penguins in the with the diagonal script. I've always liked that look for them, so I'm happy to see it back. And the fact that it's against the Rangers, of all teams,
I hadn't thought about that myself, but yeah, that's
okay. All right.
kind of a dumb team to choose to play it against.
Oh wait, Andy's got pictures. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah. So I got a few queued up here. So here's the quick look at the Leafs and the Oilers.
The George Armstrong patch though was quite nice.
Well, the thing that struck me about that is it actually made the jersey look worse because it's like, well, there's white. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole problem. I mean, there's so many problems with this Leafs uniform, but like, what an underwhelming game to kick this concept off. Where like the Leafs have a look that sucks, and the Oilers is kind of like meh.
Yeah, I think as we're seeing, we're getting more of these kind of rolling out every day starting this week. So I'm sure we'll have more to look at next week.
What else we got, Andy?
Here's the Penguins from tonight.
Yeah, I like this. I like it.
Not bad. It's fine.
The helmet sticker looks really bad on the Penguins still, but
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Look at us. We're in the rec league, and we got
we've got a countdown. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not bad. It's fine. It's a little bland, but I mean, it's fine. It's fine. All right. So let's
reset the clock and let's move.
reset the clock. We got 30 seconds.
This one's good. I think as we said in the text chat last night, the only thing is maybe it goes a little too North Stars with the actual stars on the pants.
Mm-hmm.
And when we said when they were unveiled, the block numbers are a little odd, but they just kind of clash with the modern styling of the logo.
The Wild has a really good color scheme already, but this I think is better.
Yeah.
And it really looks
The
good.
logo looks better in these colors.
The I'm with Zach. The only thing that needs to happen is lose the stars in the pants, and you're good.
Okay.
All right. Well, there we go.
Andy,
I say the Wild. No, I said my piece. I said my piece on the board. I feel like the Wild should just slowly become the North Stars again and fuck Dallas. That's really all.
Well, what did you say that Dallas should become again?
The Ghost Recons, just the Dallas Ghost Recons.
The Ghost Recons.
That's the other thing. That's not a reverse retro, but Dallas finally wore those neon things,
And they look awful.
Some people were digging the shit out of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
those people are dumb and wrong.
No, I guarantee kids love them because anybody that's played NHL on Xbox knows that every team of 13-year-olds all look like that. When they design their own jerseys and crap, they all look neon, and it's gross. And so when I turned it on, it was on NHL Network, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, it feels like I'm like turned on my Xbox. That's what it feels like. It's not. Objectively, it's probably not good. But I also think, like, if I was 15 and I was a Dallas Stars fan, I think those were the sickest jerseys in the league, probably.
I
you know,
the fact that game that they wore those the same night that the Canadians played the Flames.
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
And as Andy said, quote, one is a masterwork, the other is Uncle Bubba's Ice Rodeo.
Well, again, the Stars wore them against the Red Wings, so it's just even more stark of like, this is what a classic look looks like, and this is what Mountain Dew looks like.
Yeah.
Just,
Kyle Moore actually tweeted us that best jersey matchup of the season. It was Flames Habs.
It struck me too.
It's
as, like,
so
how
beautiful.
good it
I
was.
said it's definitely in the running. My only, if I had one, and I don't normally do this with my jersey matchups because these are just two fantastic jerseys, and that's that. But the red on red is the only thing I would have a problem with, and I don't really have a problem with it. But
Look,
they're
I'm
just-
looking.
they're just two beautiful uniforms.
I'm looking forward to the Leafs wearing their normal non-ass uniforms against the Flames. That's gonna
That's the Scotia Cup, Mike.
That's the Scotia Cup. Yeah,
Both teams
Okay.
the
have
Scotia
on their
Cup
helmets.
in the Scotia Cup in the Scotia Division.
I gotta say, no, because nobody else says them, and so it does bother me when I turn on NHL Network and they're like, "Well,
I'll
let's
see
check
that.
out the standings in the Scotia North." Like, ugh.
Yeah,
That looks better. That the Reds work better.
mean,
God damn, those are two beautiful hockey uniforms, man.
Yeah,
I-
that's just pretty.
but again,
That's
you go
what
to
hockey looks
you
like.
go to the NHL's website and you're like, oh
Whoa!
no, oh
So pick one.
God.
Uncle Bubba's Ice Rodeo. There you go. folks.
Oh, that makes me throw up just
Well,
a bit.
all right, no, okay. All right, we're safe again. All right, everyone.
Okay, but no, it's just if you go to the NHL's website and you're like, oh, I'm gonna check the standings, like the sponsorships are in are on the site. It's like, oh, I'm gonna check the division standings. It's not the East, it's the Mass Mutual East, and it's
Yeah. Well, I mean, they
Oh,
paid the
no.
money, so it is what it is. But again,
Yeah, there it
nobody anywhere else except for on NHL properties, whether it's the website or the network, refer to them as anything other than
yeah.
what they are. Just say in the West, in the East, not in the Mass Mutual East.
The Caps haven't worn their new their reverse retros yet,
They
have
did.
they?
No, they
They
haven't worn reverse retros. They wore the third jerseys last week.
The blue ones,
Yeah.
the navy ones. But we haven't seen those badass red ones that they have, right?
Not yet. I forgot. They put out their schedule. Well, most of these teams have put out their uniform schedules already. So
Yeah, Edmonton
And it's
wearing
only
those.
the Ducks are only scheduled to wear theirs twice, where some teams are wearing them like 5 times. So, but those are only home games. So I don't know if the Ducks are going to wear it on the road somewhere, but very disappointing that. If
Are
that-
you are they're not having any fans at games, right? The Ducks, you're not able to go or
No,
anything.
there's only 3 teams in the entire league that currently have fans.
Let me guess. The Panthers, the Lightning.
Nope.
No.
Lightning were going to, and then they changed their mind.
Okay, so the Panthers. It's got to be the Stars.
Yep.
Carolina Hurricanes.
No.
Hmm.
Arizona.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Arizona, Dallas, and Florida. Tampa. The arena had fans for the first few Raptors games, but then I guess as COVID kind of was raising back up again in the Tampa area, the Lightning decided, no.
Yeah, I actually had tickets to a Raptors game that I couldn't go to because they canceled attendance. So neither the Raptors or the Lightning are letting fans into the arenas. the arena.
I do love what I've caught little bits of some of the Lightning games, and they like point up to the rafters, and there's the Raptors banner just up in the rafters of the
Yeah.
Lightning arena in Tampa. Pretty funny.
All right. 22,000 at the Super Bowl on Sunday, guys. That'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
most of it's like healthcare workers, right?
Hmm.
Well, I think what you're gonna, they're telling us these numbers, and then I think they secretly double them because that Packers Bucks game, there was no way there was only 22,000 people at that game. Just no way. No way.
I think
half full.
they're gonna have a bunch of like executives and their families all dressed up in scrubs and shit, just pretending to be first responders. And
Oh, before we go, Zach, what was Toby mad about today? I bet you I could tell you which episode it was. Just tell me what he was mad about.
Oh, it was. They were changing the foreign policy language in a speech
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was
with Will Bailey.
with Will Bailey. Oh, that's okay. That's part one of Over There, I think.
Yeah, it's the inauguration. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I need
Look at that.
I need to watch West Wing. I've watched like
fucking
5
awesome.
episodes. Yeah, it
It's
was really
awesome.
good, but Aaron Sorkin just has. I need like a break from Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
though.
No, I
He's
get it.
overwhelming.
My girlfriend and I she watched the majority of like the first 3 seasons. I had never seen it, so we were watching through the whole thing together. And it's certainly a thing where like we watch it in spurts. We'll watch like maybe 2 or 3 days in a row, and then we'll say, "All right, let's."
Yeah, you can't. It's a tough binge watch because it's
It's
just
overwhelming with dialogue.
it's like
Just a
getting
lot.
shot at with a machine gun for like
Right.
5 days.
Yeah,
A verbal
And,
machine gun.
and I mean, between that, the newsroom, the social network. I mean,
I love and hate the newsroom all at the same time.
Same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
I
Am I the
love
only
it.
one who just likes it?
I like it. The thing that drives me bonkers about that show is the like revisionist
Yes.
shit that they do, where it's like, well, it's basically Aaron Sorkin saying, well, if I was covering the death
Right.
of Osama bin Laden,
Exactly.
this is how did the news networks miss this? It's like because we were living in real time.
Yeah.
moron.
And then the one mistake they
hide
make is like this catastrophic fucking thing that
Yeah.
that there's no way that something that obvious would have gotten past all those people. No way. No way.
Like it is well written, it's well acted, it's well performed. I like almost everything about it, but sometimes Sorkin, as he's known to do, gets a little preachy, and he does in particularly in the newsroom, he gets preachy in a revisionist sense,
Yeah.
where you're just like you're not taking into account what it was actually like.
yeah.
If
That
you
was,
want,
absorbing the stuff
if you want to see peak preachy Aaron Sorkin, watch Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
You mean the West Wing on Hollywood and Vine?
It's basically it's him trying to do the West Wing, but it's at Saturday Night Live
Yeah.
instead of the White House.
I haven't got a chance to watch his Netflix movie, The Trial of Chicago 7. Have you
I
guys
haven't either. I haven't seen that. But yeah, Studio 60 is like, Danny got busted for coke. What are we going to do with the media? We'll have a press conference. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, really?
Trial of Chicago 7 was not bad. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was one of those to where I didn't quite realize. It's one of those. It's weird because I watched it and I was like, that was pretty good. That felt like a Sorkin movie. Then I checked it again. I was like, oh fuck, that was a Sorkin. And then if I watched a few scenes from it again, I'm like, oh god, like it's totally Aaron Sorkin. I just didn't even put it together. Now I can't unsee it or unhear it.
Right.
If you ever see another one of his movies, I don't think I know he had a part in it. I don't know if he wrote the whole thing, but Charlie Wilson's War. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I didn't know it. I'm watching him go, man, this sounds a lot like Sorkin. And then he dropped it. I don't know if you've ever seen. There's there's 2 YouTube videos called Sorkinisms, where they do all of his references across all these movies and TV shows and stuff. And I heard one. I'm like, this has got to be Sorkin. So I stopped and looked it up, and sure enough, he
No, the newsroom would have been so much better.
He goes, because one of the characters goes, and I never get sick at seeing. I'm like, that is fucking Aaron Sorkin right there, right there for sure. But yeah,
say the newsroom would have been so much better if they just did their own news stories instead of referencing real life stuff. And
if they weren't all like perfect fucking angels, like the absolute pinnacle of journalistic integrity, which bullshit.
It came out with like this really big like Jeff Daniels unpredictable response on an interview program, and it's like really interesting, really enticing. It's like, whoa, man, you just like came out with the truth bomb, and I'm like,
That's what
totally
America
interested.
is.
Yeah, then you watch it, and you're like, this is just filleting itself. This entire series is just
First
blowing
off,
itself.
and second, first that, and then secondly, there is no way on God's green earth that a network show that was doing as well as Atlantis Cable or whatever it was called,
ACN, yeah.
that was like number 2 behind Fox was ever going to go, you know what? Fuck the ratings. We're just going to crater them. We don't care what happens. We're doing real news. That just does not happen in a multi-million-dollar corporation. It never happens. No way. And that was the part I had a problem with too.
And the real news, quote unquote.
Yeah. Does it influence? Look, if every news story had influenced voters, Florida man wouldn't even be a thing, and I can't have a world like that.
I'm just going to maintain. I liked it.
I liked it too. I loved it.
Entertaining.
Yeah,
you could watch the newsroom from beginning to end and enjoy it while at the same time making a slow masturbation motion with your hand the entire episode long. You know, it's like I'm enjoying this, but man, just what a
I loved it too, Mike. But I worked in that industry, and so does Zach, and we know bullshit when we see it. You know,
that's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to switch to something else.
No, I was going to as well. So you go ahead.
Oh, well, the Pittsburgh Penguins and Carolina Hurricanes had an interesting Twitter interaction just now about jerseys. The Penguins put up their tweet of like, our reverse retro sweaters are fire. And so the Carolina Hurricanes quote tweeted that and said, bold move wearing these against the inventors of the diagonal lettering.
Nice.
And the Pittsburgh Penguins account responded, bold move to steal the Quiznos logo.
Oh,
that's the
good.
Good.
Good. Fuck the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, why don't you wear
And
your
it's funny
Whalers
because
retros?
didn't the Hurricanes just introduced their diagonal letter jersey last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Redneck Canes, remember?
Yeah, the Redneck Rangers, and
Redneck
that
Rangers,
one guy got very upset that I called them the Redneck Rangers.
That's offensive to rednecks.
Well, too bad.
Well, hey, did you guys make any money selling GameStop stock?
No,
I don't even understand it. I know that they're doing a short squeeze, but that's just me like parroting what I read somewhere. I know how shorts work. I just don't know how this works. I kind of do, but
basically the idea was that like GameStop was selling at like $13, and this hedge fund, for some reason, somebody got a tip that this hedge fund was unloading all of this GameStop stock. So this Reddit board all got together and they all fiercely bought it up all at once, which shot the price way the hell up. And so when the hedge fund has to get those stocks back, they then have to pay it at the higher price. So they were going to lose like $17 billion in a day.
It's very much a win for the little guys, but it's kind of become perverted a little bit and brought out some really ugly parts of both humanity and just the market.
It's really one of those things where it's like, oh man, like I wish I had, known of this as it was happening.
Sure,
just
it's
make
like
a couple bucks off of it.
Right. Well, some guy. What's that, Greg? So one guy's portfolio went from like $15,000 or something to like $27 million in a span of a few days. Or I don't know.
I don't know what the minimum buy is on the stock. I mean, it's not like we could have bought. I mean, you may have been able to. I don't know, but generally, like people like us, are like, well, I'll buy 10 shares and then I'll cash out. I think you got to buy more than that. Sometimes
well, the GameStop, when it opened, it was like $13.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we couldn't say, okay, we're each going to buy a share at $13 each, and that'll be $52.
You can't buy one, but like
you have to buy like 50 or 100 or whatever.
But the idea is that even if you had to buy it in bulk, like say you had to buy 100 shares,
you're still only $1,500 or $1,300. Yeah. So
and then if that. What would that be? It went from like 13 or 15 to 300 or 400.
No, the full trajectory was $6.40 all the way up to like $3.46 a share.
Yeah.
So it was a crazy astronomical increase.
Right. But then the problem is like the thing stopped trading. Like Robinhood canceled some of these trades, and so then people started selling, and then the value started to go down again. And I don't know. It's one of those things where like had I been involved, like had I known about this, I totally would have done it like the day of, and then even if you just cash out at the end of the one day, like I wouldn't have stuck through the whole end. Be like, you know what, I made X $100,000 today. I think I'm gonna keep that and be okay with my life, and not like, not worry that like, oh no, I could have stuck with it for another couple days. Because the problem is like all the people jumping on it for the meme.
Yeah, I just sent you that, guys.
Yeah, the problem is the people that are jumping in on for the meme don't realize that like stock value does not equal company value. So GameStop is not going to exist in like 2 years.
Well, the part of it too was that GameStop had a couple of good things happen. I forget who was it? The guy Michael Burry from the guy's famous from the movie The Big Short. He was the guy that basically cashed in on shorting the housing market back in 2008.
Right.
But he liked a couple things he saw with GameStop, so he kind of talked it up, and then some other guy came along and talked it up, and all of a sudden, the Wall Street Bets Reddit thread was all over it, and it just off we went. So, but I'd heard that what the big problem that Melvin Capital had was that there wasn't enough stock out there available for them to cover the shorts. Like they had shorted it so much that like there wasn't enough to buy back to even cover what they'd shorted. Something along those lines. I don't know. I'm hardly I don't know if the first thing about this shit, but
neither does anyone else that's involved in this shit. They're just
good for them, though.
Meme.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, I'm happy to see a hedge fund take it in the teeth. I have no problem with that, because after what they did to us with the financial crisis of 2008 and the housing market and all that, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Take them down, man. Get some of that money back in our pockets. Not ours, literally, but let the little guy win some money.
Good tweet I saw. Pandemic day 25. I made bread. Smiley face.
Right.
Pandemic day number 95. I sure do miss my friends. Day 310. The Congress appears to be under the control of a shirtless man in a Viking helmet.
I saw this.
Day 330. Reddit's coordinated attack on Wall Street is going as planned. It's like, what has happened?
This is what happens when you keep people inside and they have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised this took so long.
Wall Street thing, like, people were sitting inside, they were saving a whole bunch of money, and so you have a bunch of dumb millennials that are like, you know what? I don't need this money. Let me go do it for a meme. And here we are.
You know what? I would have taken my stimulus check and dumped every bit of it into it if I'd known what was going on.
I know.
Right.
I had a couple of friends that circulate on the Reddit stock forums, and so they knew about it. They made a little bit of money, but
there's a great webcomic from Cyanide Happiness, which features a man in a time machine who zaps out of a time warp and reaches into the trash can and discovers that it's September 10th, 2001. And he goes, there's still time. And then he runs over and he invests all of his money in Apple.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's true. It's like, God.
I mean, okay, as cold as
in Apple at like 1984 or whatever, you got to be pretty happy with yourself right about now.
As cold as it is, instead of if I went back in time to September 10th, 2001, I'm not buying stock in Apple. I'm buying stock in Halliburton.
Oh,
Halliburton. Halliburton. Three things, Mike. Halliburton, any publicly traded waste removal site or company, and bottled water.
And bottled water, and I'm writing a sticky note to remind myself in 7 years to put some money in this new Bitcoin thing.
Yeah. We are evil, heartless bastards, you and me. Look at that.
Like, hey, man.
This one guy that like bought like $1,000 worth of Bitcoin when it first opened up, but he put it aside because he didn't think it was something to like worry about. But now his investment is worth like $27 million. And the way the Bitcoin account works, like you can only try to log into your account like 10 times. And if you misdo the password, like you lose the,
that's right.
If you go through it all, you can't sign into it ever again. So he's got like 4 attempts left.
That is man.
Just racking his brain like, what password do I use?
That's such bullshit. That is so that's so cruel to that poor person.
It really is, yeah.
But
wow. But yeah,
hopefully our
thing.
What's
Oh,
that?
No, go ahead, Andy. What
I was
were
to
you
say I was just going to wrap things up a little bit, but if you had a final point, go ahead.
Well, I just want to know if anybody has watched the first 4 episodes now of WandaVision.
I have.
No.
I've watched the first 2.
Okay, keep on it, Mike.
Yeah, stay on it. We'll get to it,
It's weird, and episode 3 is still weird,
but it's
but then
worth
episode
it.
4 just kind of
Okay,
that's
because
when we
like
go next level with what the hell.
because I kind of I don't know. It was like after 2 episodes, I was like, I can see what they're aiming at. Like obviously, this is not real. Like this, like, there's something going on.
If you're somebody that has enjoyed the MCU films, anybody out there, if you've enjoyed the MCU films and you watch the first 2 episodes, and you're like, oh, this is what they're doing. Please watch through episode 4. If you got
to stick with it. You got to stick
if
with
you
it.
go through 4 episodes and then you say, yeah, it's still not for me, okay, that's
Okay,
fine, I get it. But if you go through the 4th episode and you are out, you're either out or you're in at this point because it's sold its purpose.
I kind of so like I watched the first episode and I liked the whole like I Love Lucy-ness of it all.
It's fun.
And then like halfway through episode 2, I was like, this is kind of getting old already, but I'll stick with it.
That's exactly why they released the first 2 episodes at the same time, I think. Because they were like, if we strung this out over as many weeks as we want to, we're going to lose people. But
Stay with it.
Get to episode 4, and then you can.
And then make your decision. Yep, I'll say the same thing. All right, Andy, what was your last thought?
I say, hopefully our fortunes will favor us as we will talk to Chris Creamer and Paul Lucas here in a couple weeks.
Can we invest in CCSLC stock?
Yeah, I don't think they're publicly traded yet. But so that's cool. I'm ready. I'm excited to talk to those 2 guys and kind of get an idea of what their podcast is like and what they're going to talk about on their show. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Cool. All right, and with that, we will call it a night. We'll talk to you next week. Go over the Super Bowl, I suppose, and all the other good stuff. So
if we must, yes.
In the meantime, if we must, in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. I'm going to kind of like vamp a little bit here so I can get the clothes ready to play.
Well, Andy, just be glad we didn't get to the baseball thing I wanted to talk about next week, but I'm sure you're going to love talking about it next week just as much as you would this week.
What baseball thing?
Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
Oh,
traded to the Cardinals for
Jesus,
nothing.
And they've also got a proposal on the table that for 154 game season and expanded playoffs, which I think the union is going to say "fuck you" to. So we'll see.
The union is saying "fuck you" to everything that the league is putting out there. So,
and I'm sure that there's like somebody besides me out there in the podcast versus excited about the fact that Daytona Speed Week start next week. So I might be the only one, but I'm excited. All right. Anything else, boys?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. We will see you all next time.
Latest.